All right. Do you want to come and just sit down on the couch for me?
Sure.
All right, perfect. Looking really good. Why don't you just say your name for us and your age and a little bit about what you're going to do?
I'm Joel, I'm 28, and I like to party.
Cool. What kind of designs do you think you're willing to do?
Anything you guys need. I mean, I'm just really trying to break through the industry. It's really hot out there at the moment, so I'll do whatever you want.
Yeah, perfect. We're just going to drop a few pixels together today.
Right.
Just tell us if you're uncomfortable, but there's a lot of really excited creative directors out there, and I think you're really going to get some good work out of this. So, yep, sure. All right.
Welcome back to Fey Raids, the go where we knock it out shy and... Do I look chill? I want to look chill.
Dude, you look heaps chill.
I'm on edge.
My legs are showing now, which is nice. I've got a little couple of knees.
Got Miles' pins out today. If you like pins, please like and subscribe. We've got an OnlyFans account for Miles coming up. If you want to see more of those pins, we may be able to take them up a little bit further here.
Let's see how high those shorts will go. And
what's that other site called? The one where you pay shit to get extra content?
It's like the Patreon one.
Yeah, subscribe to our Patreon. You'll see Miles' dick, maybe.
That's right. What's up?
What's up, Miles? What's going on? How you been?
It's been a mixed bag, gotta tell you. Existentially spiraling.
Oh, yeah.
I worry about what the point of it all is. We have a lot of client work that we still keep doing, and we're thankful for it. But also, I wake up every day and I think, oh my God, I have to answer emails today. And then, sometimes you get a job and you're like, fuck, now I have to do the job.
Dude, I'm like waiting for an email right now, and I just waiting for that email is like the fucking worst. And I'm doing heaps of Zoom meetings and shit now. Ugh.
That's it.
I gotta tell you, Miles,
it's pretty rough. Joel's being the business side of the business, which I'm completely hands-free at this situation. It's on autopilot, and Joel's there behind the scenes being like, driving that vehicle, driving that bus.
We're trying to do some like personal projects and shit like that, but I'm just like, Miles, I don't have time, man.
You gotta do it. Honestly, personal projects come first right now. I know this is really weird, but yeah, right now our studio, it's like we're trying to do... This year's a write-off, pretty much. We've done well. We've done basically financially the same as every other year, but mentally... It's just like, let's just try to get the portfolio way better by the end of this year, because we can't keep doing the same work for years on end. I just can't do it.
100%.
I'm over it.
I'm over it too. And some of the agencies we work for and stuff, fuck that life, dude.
Yeah, bleep that.
Fuck.
They're watching right now and they love it.
Them specifically.
No, we love it. Yeah, because people fall into these roles and I think they find a passion for it in there, but from the outside, we do creative design, and even then I wake up and I'm like, fuck creative design. I'm deeply passionate about this thing, and even then I don't give a shit about it. It must be so hard to maintain caring about those management jobs.
Yeah.
I would really struggle with that. All right, today we're talking about a personal project we did, Emanation. You just put the text card on top of that thing.
I will do that.
Pretty good. But we have the same thing. We're just looking at our portfolio and we're like, we're creative, and we're like, I don't know, we need to push ourselves a little bit more.
Yeah.
So we decided we would do this. And we've done a few 3D projects in the past, but this is we want to push it further.
Yep.
We want to try to prove that we can do a minute long of something that's drastically different scenes each time and all that kind of stuff. And
yeah,
that was this piece. Should we watch it first?
Let's watch it.
Did you like that?
Did you like that?
And that's like when the kid would shout at the TV like, purple! You know, and they're like, what color is on the screen? And the kid's like, purple!
Phone in if you liked it.
We got a hotline. We put the number here.
Blown up.
That was fucking sick.
Yeah, they fucking loved it. That's good.
Nice.
But yeah, so that was it. Like first, like dipping our toes into actually doing some legitimate personal projects in 3D.
Yeah.
Where we actually treated it kind of like a client project as well. Like we set up every stage of it and tried to stick to it as much as possible with a deadline and all that shit.
Yeah.
And we did it.
We did it. And I feel like, you know, I'm actually very proud of it. Something normally we'll do something and I'll watch it 3 times and I'll hate it.
Yeah.
And I probably watched it like 8 times and I still like it. So
Yeah, I still
that's
like
good. I probably will hate it by time 20 and I'll see all the flaws in it, which I see some now, but I think it's the road to where we want to go. It's progress.
By the time this episode airs, I'll hate it.
Yeah, exactly. If you're watching this, we hate it, but also you should love it. And also like it on Behance because no one ever checks our Behance.
Yeah, we got like 3 appreciations for it, and I gotta tell you, my phone's blowing up.
Yeah, it's gone crazy. We've had 20 likes on Instagram, so I guess we're going pretty viral right now. Pretty viral.
Yep. What election? Anyway.
Yeah. So today we're going to break down the process as to how we made that bad boy.
Yep.
Some lessons we learned along the way, and maybe we'll learn a little bit about ourselves, but no promises.
But yeah, so I mean, I guess what did we do first, Miles? We discovered. Shout out to Milanote.
Yeah, shout out to Ben Marriott every week. Weekly shout out.
Ben
Our second
Marriott.
wife, Ben Marriott.
Ben Marriott.
Also, weekly shout out first wife, Hannah Hellier.
Hannah.
We'll bleep that. Nah, keep it.
I mean, you said your son's name on here one time, and I'm just like, fuck, he's dead for sure.
But he's got no online presence, so it's kind of fine.
I kind of
What are they gonna do?
a little page for actually.
Out of here.
Yeah, Milanote. Yeah, Ben Marriott was using Milanote. Miles saw it. He was just like, hey, let's do Milanote. And I was like, what the fuck is that? Jumped on that shit. It's so good.
It is good.
It's fucking dope. You can do all the shit. It's just easy as fuck to use. Drag and drop some images, plan shit, do whatever the fuck. Like, it's so easy.
Yeah, it is.
And we've used a bunch of different softwares for that sort of stuff.
Look, we've used Asana, we've used Trello, we've used Rike, we've used a bunch of different stuff, and it just felt like a chore. And Milanote's just easy.
Yeah.
It's just like you can just use it for basic lists or whatever. You can just write notes in there, and it's really easy to see everything. So I like it.
Yeah.
From a designer perspective, it actually looks good.
Yeah, exactly.
So use our special code down below to get 15% off Milanote.
So we broke it down into like how we should be breaking down client projects.
We break down every client project this way, Joel. Basically, the concept of this is we wanted to work with interiors in 3D. I'd been doing some kind of tests online through Instagram, but nothing structured enough, and we needed a way to kind of dive into a bigger project where I get more practice. And we found a bunch of references of stuff that we liked. There's just loads of great references out there. Kind of Cinema 4D, Maya, these kind of interiors made through these software are really popular right now, and they're all over Instagram, and they look really good. So we're just like, well, we want to try that.
Yeah.
And, I mean, you could make some fake thing that the bigger concept was there first, but most of the time when we're approaching a project, we see stuff out there in the ether that we kind of like, and we're like, well, could we do that?
Yeah.
And that's the whole point. It's just like testing yourself to see if you can achieve something similar or put your own spin on it or whatever. So,
and I was kind of like, I don't know, you see a lot of those things that are just like weird, bubbly objects or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I don't want to fucking do that. Also, I don't know, you see a lot of stuff like that, and also the motion is bad.
yeah.
Like, so we wanted to like really do something where everything was tight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's it. You see, in 3D, a lot of people do, it's like they find an effect to do something to like an array or a mesh, and then they just like run the effect animation thing, but they're not like keyframing things or really thinking about maybe the direction of it so much.
Sure.
That being said, some people do that stuff amazingly.
That's true.
And that's their whole bag, and they do it very like with a lot of depth. But yeah, we think working with interior spaces and that kind of stuff is fun because, you know, you get to play with actual composition and like how the light's hitting the room and different things like that. So that was the initial thought. And we've got all these reference images and videos here, which are probably, you know, way better than what we did, but it's still like you want to look at the best. You don't want to look at stuff that's just all right. So this was our kind of board of references. And
I think I was like chill for doing this because I like photography, and this is basically the same shit. All the principles are there. Like, Miles was teaching me some 3D, and I'm just like, this is legitimately the same thing. Like,
it is.
It's what you're looking for in a photo. So yeah, I thought interiors was the best way to go.
Definitely. Yeah, and it's like something that we're both inspired to actually look at and do.
Sure.
But yeah, all these reference images, I feel like now looking back at them, we actually were inspired by these a lot, and it's funny because once you start going down the process, you kind of forget the references. You look at all these references, you look at a bunch of imagery, and then you just kind of forget it and start going.
Yeah.
But then now I'm like, yeah, arches, some of the white kind of look to some of these shots, like
True.
the general setting. There is some similarities there, which I like. So it means that we were actually properly inspired by some of this stuff.
100%.
But yeah, that was kind of stage one. It's just we spent a week just saturating ourselves in the content, and it's just like looking at a bunch of stuff, and that was honestly like week one of the project. Was we're not going to put any pen to paper yet. Just look at a bunch of stuff, see what's out there, and see what inspires us.
Fuck yeah, dude.
That was week one.
Yeah, looking back, you're right. A lot of this is like has all the elements. There's like some natural shit.
Yeah.
There's some like architectural stuff and light.
Yeah.
And we did it.
That's all we needed. But now look at these. I'm like, fuck, these are so good. We should go and do these now.
Yeah, I'm actually, it's made me a little juice to do some more.
Yeah. But yeah, it's like to shout out to particular studios, 6 and 5 was a really big inspiration.
Yeah, shit, yeah.
And I'm going to say it wrong, but Re-Singer was a really big inspiration as well. And there was a few other ones out there.
There's one like a Muse Studio.
Yeah.
It's really good. They do a lot of stuff like this.
And even like there's some like Man vs. Machine. There's that purple mattress ad that they did where some of just the areas they put that mattress look so good. So
yeah, true.
You're looking at really big heavy hitters and being like, wow, I love that work. So knowing that you're 2 baby boys and you're probably not going to achieve that exact same thing, you say, well, what can we do to push ourselves as far as possible? So
fuck yeah.
Next step, sketching. Doing some sketches. Yeah, just like trying to get some forms and stuff down, just trying to figure out how we want this shit to look. Yeah.
What sort of like architecture, composition basically is the main thing.
Done. And I mean, if you look at these, you'll see how ratty they are. They're really not high quality sketches. I was just knocking these up in Procreate. And probably honestly, it's like I was just thinking I did a lot more than this and they sucked, but it was like 5 minutes a sketch, if that. Which even seems like too much for these, but it's just like you kind of just trying to lay out the general shape of the room. What I really struggle with the sketches, which you'll see from all of them, is getting vertical space in that aspect ratio.
Yeah, right.
Like capturing floor to ceiling. Like I clearly have some issues with just perspective.
Yeah,
the best one I've got, I think, is this one with the several arches.
Yeah.
You actually feel the depth, the height of that room. Everything else feels cut off, or I didn't put a ceiling line or something like that. So I'm just curious by the fact that I struggled with that. And actually, you know what, in making the 3D compositions later, 1920 by 1080, it is really hard to get the scale of height in a room because you're dealing with that width of the aspect ratio.
I find that so hard too. And I don't know if it's just because of the computer screen itself and then all the shit you need like around it, all the like control panels and all that bullshit, that it becomes so small and it's like just so wide. I find it so hard as well, man.
It is difficult.
But I mean, you have to.
Yeah. And I mean, like that was the kind of first thing I realized doing these sketches was, all right, interiors are difficult in that sense, getting that verticality in there.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the references we look at there, in fact, all of them, they're all portrait.
Yeah.
Right. So that does impact what you can fit in there, really. That's the whole dealio. So.
And even like some that aren't portrait, it's more like the shit's way in the back. Like
way in the
it has
back.
to be like way in the back. Like.
Yeah.
But
So yeah, that was a revelation. But yeah, I mean the sketches. There's something I don't know. You probably talk on this too, but realistically, we're not people that want to sketch. Yeah. Like we do it because we think it should be part of the process. But I don't know if it strongly informs the final work. I'm surprised at how much of this does look somewhat similar to the final work. Like just even the arch scenes, they have some similarity. I'm like surprised that any of that even made it in at all.
Right.
But even then, it's not 1-to-1. I don't sketch something and then make it in 3D, really. It's just like an idea, rough idea.
I find it really hard to make it part of the process because it becomes a lot. I mean, it makes sense, and if like maybe I just don't have the patience because I like to sketch on paper, but then just like then you have to like fucking digitize that, like make it, do it on the fucking like trace it over in Procreate or do whatever. It just becomes like this whole massive thing, and I don't know. I don't think I have the patience for it, really.
Yeah, I think you probably don't really have to actually digitize your sketches. I'm looking at the ones because we're doing some now for our next project, which we've just dove straight into. But I think you could just take a photo and that's fine. That's fine to put that in the process. I don't think it has to be any fancier than that.
Right.
You know, because it's like it's trying to show how things go from really rough to formed.
It's annoying when you see other studios though that are really good.
It's perfect sketches,
and they have but like they're perfect sketches, but also the photo of the sketch is perfect.
Yeah.
Like where I'm doing these sketches, I'm using like a shitty pencil, like bad lighting in my apartment. Like, take a photo on my phone. Like,
Yeah.
I don't have patience to even like set that up to make the photo of the sketch
Yeah,
look
true.
good. Do you know what I mean? Or it's on like a piece of paper that's got like tagging and shit all over it as well. Like,
Yeah,
it's just-
yeah. Well, that's hard too. Yeah, my sketch is there surrounded by trash by the end of it.
Exactly.
The good one, it's like I just have to circle that as a good one.
Yeah, it's exactly.
But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I was
We'll
wondering
get
that
better than that.
with our studio, it's like we are trash.
Yeah, we should embrace it.
And like people aren't going to come to us and spend like, I don't know, like $1 million on some Apple ad like they might with Man vs Machine or something. So it's, I don't know. It's okay for us to embrace who we actually are a little bit, I think.
Fair.
Hard to do. You don't want to look too rough around the edges, but
I feel like
some
we're
reality is
so
there.
rough around the edges. Like,
Yeah, we're pretty rough.
but maybe that we should just lean into that.
I don't know, yeah. I mean, because, I don't know.
Let's make like 3D bongs or something.
Yeah, so anyway, after doing the sketches, this is when we wanted to go into the software, which is where I think we're most effective, really.
Yeah.
It's like, it's all well and good to sketch for a long time, but eventually you need to actually, I don't know, start dropping some cubes, so to speak.
Dropping some cubes, man. Dropping some cubes. So you actually knocked these out super quick, which was like crazy. I remember you were like, yeah, I'm going to start doing that shit. And then automatically they were there. I'm like, fuck, you were like way quicker than that than even doing normal sketches.
Yeah, and I feel like this, I never really did this with the other kind of shots or interior pieces I did, but it was really helpful just to block out rooms, not worry about if anything's nicely like beveled or subdivided properly or quads, just do a rough version of some different rooms.
Yep.
And test it with the light and just see what looks good. But yeah, this was just Cinema 4D, honestly, just a standard generic material, redshift at a pretty low setting, and a lot of it was using just like a simple infinite light or something like that, or maybe an additional area light to hit some of these spheres, which it's funny, we put the sphere as a placeholder.
yeah.
Like at this point, we were just like, yeah, we'll just put a sphere there, we'll put something nice there, but at the end, we're like, you know what, this is kind of our first attempt at something like this. Let's just embrace the sphere-ness. Like, it looks so good in all these scenes.
Yeah.
Fuck it. We'll do the sphere.
Yeah, it was like you're torn between like, oh, do I just want to be one of those people that just does a fucking cube or a sphere or whatever? But then like, I feel like when you're putting that much effort into the interior itself and all this sort of stuff, it worked. It fucking worked so well.
It did, yeah. It's kind of nice to have an object that is so simple in contrast to the rest of the room, which
Exactly,
is quite busy. And immediately you'll notice with these, I started to find out how to get vertical space into this aspect ratio, especially that one on the far left. You can feel that is a really big temple space, and it's exactly what you said. It's having stuff off in the distance so you can get a sense of scale.
Yeah.
Not something I understood with my sketches. So that really helps a lot. And probably also you can play around with your camera settings and it drastically changes the look of everything. Like
That's true.
portrait versus tele or wide angle. It just really changes the room so you can play with that. Mm-hmm. Still with most of these and most of the camera shots, I still used a tele lens. So it does flatten things up quite a bit. But it still seemed to look the best. I think I used portrait once or twice.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, using a wide angle lens is like...
It's really hard to get that right and looking good.
Yeah, because it's hard. It's hard because then it starts to like kind of warp a bit as well. Like a bit fisheye or whatever.
See, Joel's photography skills, and then, you know, next time we go around, I got to get you looking at these cameras. So I just randomly choose shit and be like, oh, maybe that works.
I have been playing with that, just specifically the camera, just to see what sort of shit you can do in there.
Yeah.
But like ultimately, yeah, portrait stuff works for shit if you want to like, you actually have an object that you just want to focus on.
Yeah.
Man, I'll jack that shit up.
For sure, man.
And then back it up.
Well, that's it. Yeah, so that's it. Like, I noticed my camera was like way back in the distance.
Yeah.
So I'm casually learning about this stuff now, but from a position of just like tinkering and trying to figure it out. But yeah, light studies immediately. I tried to do a lot of elaborate lighting rigs, and I found out, you know what, just a simple single strong light is always best on these, because we went from interior to exterior.
Yeah, true.
Which this is when the kind of plan for the piece started to shift. I don't know if you noticed this, but it was originally going to be just like a nice minimalist kind of like house looking interior. And then I started just watching the work of Sam Jameson. I really hope I got that name right.
We'll be right back. I think it was Samuel L. Jackson. He
Samuel L. Jackson. Samuel Jerome Mason. Samuel Jerome Mason, who you would have seen some of his work on Motionographer, but he does this kind of weird cult stuff. It looks trippy, and I've seen that kind of style in other things, and I really like that. I'm having like this big existential crisis at home with like, I don't know, just so much big changes in life, and honestly like Corona, all that kind of stuff. And I was at a cafe, and I heard these two people that had just gotten off a bicycle, and they were talking about some like current political news of the week. And I'm like, can't we just paint our faces blue and fight each other? Like, I just felt like I've had enough of just, I'm so sick of just normal shit. So I thought, let's go for some temple spaces and let's try to make it a bit more trippy and play with the colors in that sense and do some stuff. So,
well, it fucking worked.
That's when it kind of shifted to the temple setting, which I'm really happy we went with in the end. And it kind of elevated the piece a lot more than just being like, here's a nice room and there's a thing rolling through it.
Yeah, fully.
So that was the big change. And the light studies helped me find that out too. The one I liked the most were the ones with the big arches and the temples, and it felt like more of an unreal space. And I liked that more in the end.
Yeah, fully.
So that was a big change. But yeah, light studies.
And they're all grayscale and shit. Didn't need to worry about any of that.
Yeah.
It was more about just composition and...
Yeah. It's so freeing to just work on composition too, because I don't know, especially with 3D, I really struggle then starting to put the textures in. It's just really difficult to get that right, and
it's like the hardest part, eh?
It's really difficult.
And I don't know.
It's nice to just be free from that for a little bit and just focus on the one thing, which is light, which is the point. Next stage,
Style frames.
Yeah. So
the final stills.
This is kind of like how we do our normal storyboarding for clients, but we do final quality for everything in the storyboard before we get going,
which I think makes more sense for 3D shit, because I mean, like, that's it then you just got to move the camera around or whatever. But we do that shit for our 2D stuff as well, because I mean, I guess that's just the way we kind of started doing it. Some people will tell you like, yeah, you got to show them every little kind of step of the way, but for the work we majoritively do for like corporate shit, it's better just to show them exactly what it's going to fucking look like.
Yeah, because we found that a lot of clients, and it's not their fault, but a lot of them don't have an imagination as to what the final piece is going to be, because they don't look at the same amount of stuff that we do. So
yeah,
and same for us with this 3D stuff, because it's, we're fairly new to it. The whole point was we need to actually build the scenes so we know what's going to happen, and there's no point starting to animate unless we know this thing's going to flow properly. So the process with this was literally just, I did the first one, which was the one with the 3 arches and the bowl above it. Which is that one down there. And that was just spur of the moment for an Instagram one. I was playing with one of the other rooms, and I'm just like, I just want to do like a fun, more kind of temple one for the Instagram thing, because I was in that mindset. And then for whatever reason, the color grading on this one just worked better, and the light on it just worked better, and the setting worked better. And I was just like, all right, this is way better in general. Mm-hmm. So I started building other variation stills based off that. And at first it was focusing on other main rooms. So similar scale stuff. Not having a particular plan of how that ball would be moving through it or the core objects, just thinking, all right, variation in room.
Yep.
And then after that, I started thinking, now we need some difference in terms of close-up shots, simple shots, and far shots, so that so the piece feels dynamic. It doesn't feel like room end.
Yeah, true.
So that was when I started to do the other variations, like the ball rolling down or coming out of the sand. That was the real change there.
The ball coming out of the sand, I think, every time I watch it, still, that's my favorite part.
The one,
it's kind of like what's the word I'm looking for? Oh God, I'm spacing on the word.
How dare you, Joel?
The bridge in a song. It's kind of like the bridge in a song. It kind of just breaks it for a minute, and then it's like, I don't know. It's really is. I love that fucking part. Yeah,
and it's so good. It divides the whole piece up, and
exactly.
it's really nice to have a bit of quiet between things, and that's always what I struggle the most with, is like making that happen.
Yeah,
but it worked really well in this. So, and
I mean, when it comes to motion, like, if you look at these frames, you pretty much know what's going to happen. Motion wise, which was good.
Yeah, there was no thinking about that. You just kind of knew each scene what was gonna happen in, and this is when I think Joel started really stepping in the project a lot. So half of this is animated by Joel. Joel did the color grading and the end titles and everything. So this is where it became like, I kind of went down my little tangent at the start.
Which had to happen.
Because I didn't, honestly, it was so slapdash. I didn't really know where it was going. And then once we feel like, all right, we're locked in, then we're discussing all this stuff again. And, this is when you step in. So how was the experience? This is kind of your first like real big meaty project in Cinema 4D.
It was good. Because it was like, there didn't have to be a whole lot of shit. Like, there's so much detail and stuff like this. It was majoritively going to be like camera pans and stuff like that.
Yep.
I think we started with doing what do we call those things? Animatic.
Yes, true.
So,
that's right. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
So, all right. So it, reverse, and then we go. And it'll go back to before we started fully animating these scenes. You did something first.
Yeah, before that, because we're like, we kind of need to see the duration of the thing. And there's like certain things we can do in After Effects with like just like zooming in using like optics compensation effect to create a look of it, like the camera panning down like a room or something like that.
Yeah.
So we pretty much just wanted to put the scenes like kind of in order of what we thought they were going to be. Put a song to it as well, even though we'll get to that a bit later, how we were thinking about using a sound designer or not. But I was thinking like, I needed some sort of song.
Yeah.
Just to get some like timing.
Yeah, to know what we need to render out in the end. It's just really important to have some direction.
So we can show the animatic of to see what that would look like.
And for me, once you put the animatic together, I felt like, oh, this can be a real thing. So that really did, it really helped me to see just the basic motion of what those scenes could be.
Sure.
And understand the timing and then say, all right, this scene needs to be 4 seconds, so I need to animate 4 seconds of this.
Exactly.
That made it so much easier. So, and that's something we don't typically do for our clients with the 2D work because we know what we're doing. We find it a lot easier just to not do that step. I know it's probably recommended, but because the turnover we do with projects, just let's just do it.
And most of our clients are return clients, and they know we can just do it.
Yeah.
So it's not really fully necessary. But yeah, for this one, I just wanted to see exactly how it was going to go in order specifically.
Yep.
But yeah, then we fucking went into Cinema 4D.
Yeah.
Just wild stuff. I learned a lot about how to animate in there and shit. Which, it's not as hard as you think. So anyone out there, fucking get into it.
Yeah.
It's I was terrified of diving into 3D. At all.
I think, and too, the animation's kind of a nice way to just get used to the software. Because you get used to orbiting around objects, you get used to thinking in 3D space, but you don't have to get into topology and modeling things perfectly and everything else just yet.
If you understand motion, if you're doing these After Effects animations and shit, it's the same shit.
Yeah,
you keep framing the same things. You get the curve editor and shit, it's the same stuff. Yeah. Really.
So I remember, I think our first session, the thing that you most have to get used to is, the main motion of the piece you can deal with. It's like something rolling or something like that in the scene, that's fine. It's when you're playing with the light in the scene and using a third-party renderer like Redshift, you need to kind of find ways to check how that's going to look without having to run that the whole way through and slow you down your process while you're just trying to change all the dials and stuff. So it's kind of a mix of I'll turn off Redshift for a little bit, we'll animate, and then go back, turn it on, and watch some of the light scenes and stuff. But that's a bit of a mental shift, is what you're looking at is not the final product. So
that was the hardest part, and it was the most annoying part, I think.
Yeah.
Because you just, I don't know, it just feels like such a big thing, then you're just fuck, then I'm going to check that. If I fuck that up, I'm going to do that again, and then do another preview and all this shit. Yeah. And you need some fucking real computing power behind it to actually get the final renders out.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, industry pros will look at our stuff and be like, it's pretty noisy. And it is pretty noisy because we're just well, what can we do with what we have right now? And we got 2 decent PCs and we're just rendering stuff out of that. We got 2 2080 cards and it was honestly just rendered off our at-home PCs. So, cloud renderers next time. Watch this space. But for this time around, we're let's not spend money on it. Let's just do it ourselves. And this is what we're going to do. But yeah, I'd say probably the main one too that you went off and did was that bridge scene we were talking about with the orb coming out of the sand.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was great. There was just we did a few tutorials together and they just let you go and you solved so many issues to that scene and made it look really nice. And that's the standout. So it's pretty good.
And yeah, also the end cards and shit, you had an idea of what we kind of wanted to do. Yep. I kind of want to maybe I should put a little bit of that up there because I really went deep into that. Yeah. Because I was just I really got to make this look fucking good. But the end title card, we kind of wanted it to how do we even explain this?
It needs to slowly expand out to kind of
needed to match exactly what was happening basically and really go with it.
And we had a serif font that we wanted to kind of, I don't know the words for different, but it's the stems of the different things. They needed to kind of expand out of themselves so the fatter sections of the serif became fatter as it was happening and stuff like that. Yeah. So Joel's one that does typically a bit more type animation, and then he was playing around and actually vectoring stuff up properly, making that happen, and it looked really good.
Yeah, I outlined the the typeface and everything like that, and made sure like there was dips in a lot of shit
Yeah.
that I just got rid of to make it straight because I was like, it'd be easier. And then I figured out a sick way to like animate from if path animate this text from where I want it to be to where it needed to be. And that's just like outlining it and then making sure there's no extra points in the vector that could fuck you up later. And then literally just have both letters, the thick one and the thin one, on top of each other in an Illustrator file, bring it into After Effects, and then just use one of them, keyframe that path animation, copy the path from the fatter one, and then drop that into the other one, and then it's just like there. Yeah,
because if you can convert text to vectors in After Effects, but it's like you said, there's a bunch of rogue points.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think the way you did it's really good, and it looks so organized. I'm like, nice.
Yeah, it made it a little longer of a process, but I'm just like super comfortable in Illustrator, so it was like easy to do.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, there was that, and then just chucking a like simple choker on it as well.
Yeah,
and
looks really good.
Worked.
And apart from that too, Joel also handled the final color grade as well because
a little bit. We both kind of fucking did a bit of that.
We found a method for this. When I was tinkering with that first one for Instagram, I did a black and white layer on top of the main layer and set it to screen. And it washed out everything. It made it very white, but in a way that I really liked.
Yeah.
And it felt very stylized, and it kind of really nailed that desert look that we were looking for. So we ended up using that method in the end, and it's a lot of just dialing it in. How much vibrance do you want to bring back in? What colors do you want to bring back in? And all that kind of stuff. It's not like we're not professional colorists, but I think we did well to actually try to match everything in the end.
Yeah, basically it was just matching it. That was the only thing. Like the white clinical look of each thing was already like dope.
Yeah.
It was just basically when it went from scene to scene, sometimes it would just look like the color was a bit off.
Yeah.
It was just matching all of that.
Yeah, definitely. So that was a fun look. And then final step of the process, which was quite new to us, was using a sound designer.
Yes.
So shout out to QB Sound, who did a great job with the piece and dealt with us as annoying clients. It's so strange. We're always on the creative end, and we really stepped into that client side. And then I always feel like such a dick giving feedback or anything like this, but they were so good and they were so patient with us, and they worked so hard on showing us different versions of what it could be. And in the end, it was perfect. So really happy
they nailed
with
it. Because we were tossing up because I kind of cut a artlist track up to like match what we needed and shit like that. Which was just for the animatic. We weren't even going to use it or whatever.
Yeah.
But then we're like, fuck, maybe we should use it, or should we use it to sound designer? Should we throw some money to sound designer?
Yeah.
And we thought, this is like a fucking big personal project of ours. We probably should.
Wanted to be unique. And yeah, we'd come across QB Sound from Ben Marriott's Lots of Love piece, which I did a little bit for. And I love the sound design. I'm like, this guy does such good work. So it's actually two dudes, I think. I hope I'm getting that right. But yeah, it's two guys, and they did great work. And yeah.
Did they have, there was one cup as well. Two guys.
It's one cup. Bleep that. Bleep your whole thing. The bleep files. We just put a black box over you the whole episode.
Mr. X.
But yeah, they did a great job, and it really did elevate the piece in the end. It's nice knowing that if you put so much love into something in the visual side, that you're not just using a stock track at the end. So I completely understand like the value of bringing that in at the end of the process.
100%. And I fully recommend them, and I reckon we'll probably use them again.
Yeah, definitely.
Because you were right. It was hard. It's really hard to like. Because we don't do music shit. It's like, how the fuck can you ask someone? You're like, no, we need to be more like, It's very hard to like describe what you're after. And then if they send you something back that is pretty much what you said, but not what you meant.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you be like, fuck, no, you're right, but you're not right. Like,
it made me empathize with our clients because sometimes they'll say something and it's in vague language because they don't know the terminology.
Yeah,
so it's made me realize too, like for me to not fuck someone around with the sound design process, I have to go and learn a little bit more about the terminology so I can speak in a way that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I realize that that's the issue is I'm putting vague things in there and then it's very difficult for them. But I mean, yeah, they did a stellar job and like fully made new music to get it where we want it to be, and it was perfect. So it's
crazy.
Really good work ethic, fast turnaround, great service, and yeah, they were fantastic.
If you like, honestly, like write some comments if you guys have worked with sound designers before and you...
Yeah, how do you brief it in?
Yeah, how do you brief it? How do you find working with them?
Yeah.
Let us know because it's for us, it was a very difficult process. Yeah. And like, I feel like just because we've done it now and it worked, I still think it'll be hard next time as well. It's like, it just feels like...
Yeah, it's our naivety for sure. But I think... I think even going through the process, I feel more confident next time. I think with us, it's like I'm really scared to waste a creative person's time and send them down rabbit holes and I knew as I'm articulating things, I'm like, I'm not articulating this properly. So I think that seems to be the main thing. But I'm going to read up on some fucking terminology and get some of the actual lingo right for shit so I don't waste a professional person's time.
Miles is a nerd. It's something you need to know about Miles.
Fucking nerd,
Super
dude.
nerd.
Yeah, sine, cosine, tan. All three of them. They're all here.
Sokotoa.
Sokotoa, that's what I'm talking about. That's it.
Then we fucking put it out.
We posted it.
Which was then also we like kind of got a... First of all, we were really happy, and then we had a couple of beers.
Yeah.
Second, before we like posted it, we got like the project page for the website ready.
Yeah.
Behance page, that sort of shit, because we want to do it legit.
Yeah.
Post it and be like, "Bah, go see the process, all this shit."
And yeah, this is the thing with personal projects is, and I'm sure a lot of you have felt this too. You post something, and it's always a little anticlimactic. You send it out there, and you're kind of like, I don't know. For us, we'd mitigated that because we wanted this as a portfolio piece. It's like, it's nice to have a good post, people like it, and there were lots of great comments and stuff, but it doesn't really matter. Even if no one commented, the whole point is that now we have something in the portfolio that if people say, do you do 3D? We can say, yes, here's a piece.
Fuck yeah.
And that I'm actually proud of, and the lighting looks all right, and I'm happy with how it's modeled and everything. And I can say, if you need something like this, we can do it. So
shit, yeah.
that was the point, and I recommend that if you're doing a personal project, you really have to let go of the social media side. Do it properly when you're going to launch it, but it's really hard. I think most of us are basically doing stuff for Instagram, or it's like it's for those platforms now, and
True.
you have to try to elevate what you're doing and go beyond that a little bit, and then it doesn't affect you so much whether it does well or not. So
because I mean, yeah, it depends. If you're doing something super different, that may just work for you.
yeah,
Because like, I mean, we heard from Reese Barker a couple of weeks ago. He was just like, "Yeah, I just did fucking loops all day, every day for Instagram."
Yeah.
And look where he's at.
I know, he's done it. Congratulations, Reese Parker. We bring him, he walks back in. It's like an international flight. He's quarantined for 2 weeks, and now he's here.
Skates in.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That was it.
that was kind of it. So now we're starting on our next shit.
Yep.
Which you're gonna see a lot of now because like Miles said, 2020 is a fucking ball ache.
Yeah, we don't give a shit anymore. We're just literally trying to burn the house down.
Yeah.
We're giving up our office, and we're just going all into the personal projects, really.
We're taking on jobs. We got like some 2D jobs at the moment, but they're like big ones. So it's like a pack of like how many. So it's like good to just have that running in the background, making the money while we're just like, let's get weird with fucking Cinema 4D and shit and do some like crazy weird 3D shit.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny, like I've always been very business minded, but now it's like I truly am off the cliff a little bit. And we've been good. It's like our business is always the same. It just seems to be like, even in a bad time, it's literally the exact same. So I'm just like, well, I just don't want to be bored next year, you know? I just can't see the point. Like, I just think I'd rather risk the entire thing, have 5 pieces that I'm happy with, and I don't care if I'm like working back at Coles afterwards. I just don't want to do the same shit for 20 years. I can't be fucked.
Yeah, fully.
So that's the dealio. So unstable employment, but great posts, hopefully. So make sure to like this post and go and check it out on the Behance and the Vimeos. And we got the breakdown on our website as well. So you can check that out there.
Yeah, sick. Just choco.com.
Yes.
Yeah, also, I'm getting into the 3D now. Loving it. Trying to learn a lot. It's fucking hard, and I hate it a lot of the days.
I honestly, fuck 3D, but Joel's made like stellar progress very quickly. It's crazy. So
yeah, Miles is like, honestly, after we record this, he's going to show me some more shit. But
yeah,
I want to give a shout out specifically to I would call this a family fun design corner, but
family toot design corner.
Family toot
for toots
for tooties. Ross Mason. This guy's on YouTube. He's does a lot of like tutorials and shit like that for Cinema 4D and Redshift specifically because that's what we're using.
Which is funny, that specific combo, like there's grayscale gorilla courses and stuff like that, but there's not lots of just like copious amounts of tutorials on YouTube for it.
Yeah.
So, and
like I'll be Googling shit and I'll just be like, this is what I want to do, and then I'll just put it on C4D Redshift specifically because that's what I need to fucking do.
Yeah.
That's what we got. But yeah, Ross Mason, he's got like a bunch of subscribers. He's doing some real good shit at the moment, and he just does it in a way. He's just like a normal British dude. He's just like, what's up? What's going on? Blah blah blah. Does the shit.
Yeah.
And then he also has like a Gumroad page where he has all his project files of his tutorials for free to download.
Wow. Which
is cool for me. Like I didn't usually like doing that shit. I never really download a project file, but when it comes to this stuff is such a beast. It's like really good to see what materials he's using, how he's using them, and all that sort of shit.
Yeah, definitely. And I'd say even just looking at the thumbnails of his pictures, he actually cares about design, which is really rare for some reason. 3D tutorials especially, it's really rare to see
fully like
good design. So
he's and he'll like go through that whole process, and then he does a lot of speed art ones too, which is also good to watch because then you can see him chuck it into Photoshop as well and like fix it there and stuff. So it's like really fucking trying to get some really good images out of the the end of it. So
yeah, fuck yeah, dude.
Shout out to Ross Mason on YouTube.
Nice. That's it for this week. Thanks for watching. Stay, follow the Patreon, and
OnlyFans, see more of Miles's legs. We're going to see if we can get him up to the top quarter of his thigh next episode.
Super fans only. Venmo me, and I'll do it.
But yeah, is that it? I guess
that's it, dude.
Anything else we want to touch?
No.
We have some more interviews with some people coming up in the future.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for that.
Maybe let us know if there's someone you think we should reach out to.
That's a good call.
We've just been going through people that we love their work. But also, we have such a limited lens. There's only 2 of us looking at stuff. So if anyone thinks, wow, this person would be a good fit, let us know, and we'll check out their work.
Fuck yeah, dude.
We're pretty rookie interviewers. So
oh yeah, we're terrible at it. But
yeah.
the way I see it, the one we do it, the easier to get. I mean, Reese Parker's was fine. It was actually good.
Yeah,
like
he was a good sport. You know, he dealt with us on like fucking Zoom and all that kind of stuff. But I think we did a good job with that for the first one at the gate. All right, goodbye. As we always say on day rates, you day another day until you day some more, and that's why we rate. So, boink. Oh.